Hi everyone, welcome back to the Beating Kidney Disease channel. Today I'm actually walking you through my story, kind of where I'm at today and how I got here. So in today's video, we're going to go through kind of what started this for me, this journey I've been on the last few years, and kind of where I stand at now. So let's first of all talk about this. How did I get on this journey of kidney failure? Now it's important to understand that unfortunately my mom did pass away from kidney failure, liver failure and heart failure at the age of 65. So I do have kind of a genetic background here. But what started for me was actually years ago when I had congestive heart failure when I was 41, when I was on a low carb diet. The blood flow from my legs stopped to my heart. But what it did is when I had this episode happen about 4 years ago, it fast forwarded my diabetes about 25 years. It sent my A1C to a 15. I was in a hospital. You know, they told me that potentially I could have only had 7 days to live had I not gone to the doctor and seen the results on the EKG. So there's a lot of things I learned through that process as I went through this, and learning to manage this A1C the right way as it had skyrocketed. A few months after that episode, I started to lose my vision. And losing my vision, what I discovered was the bleeding blood vessels I had in my eyes. So I met with a retina specialist and I had to have injections done for about 18 months. Through those injections, I ended up having almost 6 eye surgeries over the course of 24 months. I was legally blind almost 2 different times with a vision of 2100 that got that vision back up to 2025. I still have a lot of spots in my vision and things like that, but it's massively improved compared to what it used to be. So as I'm getting over that, I discovered that I have stage 1 kidney failure about 3.5 years ago. It's being managed pretty good. My numbers are decent. They were sitting in like that 70 to 80 range, and I think it's called an ECFRG. Then about 18 months ago, that number started to drop into probably the low 60s. Then about 14 months ago, that number dropped into the upper 40s, which was still putting me in that, kind of stage 3A, I think it is. They're really even borderline 3, 2, and 3. Then when I did my recent doctor's appointment, that number had dropped to a 34, which was putting me in potentially lower stage 3. They wanted to do more blood work. They wanted to take me off metformin and another heart medicine to see if that's what was causing it. So they did that, had me do more blood work. 3 weeks later, my ECFRG number, I think that's what it's called. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. It had gone from a 34 to a 28 in a matter of 3 weeks, now placing me in stage 4. My creatinine level had gone from a 2 point. And so that kind of brings me to today of where I'm at now. What I'll call the beginning stages of stage 4 kidney failure. I've been dealing with severe leg cramps the last few months. Lots of swelling in my body. My weight would, sometimes range from 20 to 30 pounds in a month because of all the swelling. A lot of itching on my body. Even what's called now kidney fog, brain fog, where I've been facing a lot of issues and challenges like that. Constant body pain, where I feel like I'm almost out of every breath. Someone's hit me in the back with a football helmet. And so I feel like I've always had the breath knocked out of me sometimes. And so that's kind of what I'm going through now. I've got a meeting with a kidney specialist that was moved up 3 weeks after they discovered how fast these numbers were coming down on my kidneys. So that's where I stand today. Now, once I go through my doctor's appointment, I will be doing an update on that. I'll be going through some different medications, like you heard me mention a minute ago, metformin. They had me on about 17 milligrams of metformin a day for the last 5 years. Well, we all know metformin is great for the short term, it's terrible for the long term. So they thought potentially that's what was causing my kidney issues. So someone's hit me in the back with a football helmet. And so I feel like I've always had the breath knocked out of me sometimes. And so that's kind of what I'm going through now. I've got a meeting with a kidney specialist that was moved up 3 weeks after they discovered how fast these numbers were coming down on my kidneys. So that's where I stand today. Now, once I go through my doctor's appointment, I will be doing an update on that. I'll be going through some different medications, like you heard me mention a minute ago, metformin. They had me on about 17 milligrams of metformin a day for the last 5 years. Well, we all know metformin is great for the short term, it's terrible for the long term. So they thought potentially that's what was causing my kidney issues. So it doesn't seem like that was the issue there. So we'll find out when I go back to the doctor. Then I'll be consulting with places like Vandy and Emory, potentially looking at dialysis and transplant. I'll be taking you down that journey as I go down that journey. But I wanted to put this video out here to kind of let everybody know kind of where I started, where I've been to, some of my family history here, so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from as I go through this kidney failure battle. I look forward to having 100% recovery, whether that's through dialysis, whether that's through transplant, whether that's through a very unique organic diet. I'm a very driven individual. How do I get back to being who I was before all this happened? So that's my goal. I want to just put this video here and kind of tell you a little bit about my story. Continue to look for these updates as I go through this process. Remember, I'm here to support you as you go through this process. If you've got questions, I've got questions. I'm creating a private community that you'll be able to find in the description throughout this channel as well, where we just kind of support each other. So, as I said, my name's Chris. I look forward to seeing you in our next video in my next update. Thank you.